Boom. What's good, y'all? It's AmgTed in the building as always. And this is gonna be my introduction video because I just did a video and I didn't really introduce myself. So here we go. So, as you may know, I go by the name AmgTed, or that's the name I gave myself. Why? Because I drive an AMG. Anyways, I basically wanted to explain the story of how I even got into cars and in general, because at first I wasn't really into cars like that. I just wanted, like anyone else, they just want a car from point A to point B to drive around and you feel cool. You feel like the man. You're like, yeah, this is mine. I'm driving. Or even if it's not yours, you just feel cool driving. Anyway, I wanted my own car. I wanted my own vehicle. I wanted to be able to, move around with my own stuff and not have to worry about, calling anyone or borrowing somebody's stuff. So I started working, and then I got my first car was a Honda Civic 97 Standard. And the car was good at first, it was super cool, clean. It wasn't much body damage. It was nice and dropped, clean. The only thing about it is I ended up having problems with it later, and come to find out that the engine was pretty bad, and so was the clutch. But I'm not even gonna blame the engine. Or I'm not going to say that the engine had any problems, because I did blow the engine. Probably like a few days after that, or like the next day. I don't even remember, but it was I actually just learned how to drive a Standard like 15-20 minutes before I had to drive it from Coney Island all the way to the Bronx. And this was my first car. I didn't know how to drive Standard. My brother gave me like a 20-minute lesson, and I drove that bitch all the way here. So then, I got the car. We hopped on the highway one day, and I'm flooring it. I feel like Fast and the Furious at this point. I'm shifting. I'm doing my thing on the highway. I'm feeling like, I don't know, like I think I know what I'm doing with the Standard and stuff. So anyway, so I'm hitting in second gear, third gear. I'm in third gear, high as hell in the RPMs. And I go to shift to the fourth gear, and I shift down to second gear and floor it. Car turned off immediately. It couldn't take it. I don't know if I remember hearing like a bang or anything like that, but the car definitely shut off, overheated and everything. So we got off the highway and let the car cool down for a little bit. We let it cool down, and we ended up getting it back on. When we got it back on, it was knocking. Bam. Drove it all the way back to the house, and then eventually started to fix that. Swapped the engine. It took a couple months with hand tools. Did not use any power tools. This was all hand tools. Swear to God. Just took the engine out. Somehow we borrowed like a jack from someone there. Thank God we even knew anyone who had that. So we went and borrowed the jack, pulled the engine out, and got the engine out. Swapped the other one in. Car was running good after a while. Mind you, this took like almost all summer, because we were doing this with hand tools, and I was waiting for my brother to get home from work. So he could only really work on it all day on the weekend, and then like a couple hours after work during the week. It was a shit show, but we ended up getting it to work. And then when I got it back on, or when we got it back on, the transmission ended up like breaking, or I don't know if I burned the clutch, or I don't know what happened, but there was like a crazy loud noise, like a grinding noise. So boom, to make a long story short on there, I kept the car for a little bit, and my brother again saved me by coming to fix it. At this point, he had moved. He was in Connecticut, so he came to me, and he came to the Bronx, took the car and drove it all the way to CT, opened the transmission, swapped out whatever pieces he needed to swap out, and put it back together. Ended up bringing me the car. Car was brand new. After a while, I probably didn't even have that car for much longer after that, because I started working, and then I ended up going to a dealership. And this is where things get interesting, because this is when I got into like faster cars, or foreign cars, or luxury cars, or whatever. I'm going to get a Honda. I just want to upgrade. I want comfortable seats. I want, I just want to be comfortable with my car, reliable. I go to the dealership, and I'm looking at a bunch of Hondas, maybe an Odyssey. I also see this E-Class, this E350 Mercedes-Benz, and I see an Audi. I don't know what Audi this was. I just know it was an Audi. It looked nice. From what I know now, it looked like an A4. So I test drive the Benz, and the Benz was a nice car, but it felt like it was missing something. Like, it was really nice. It was really nice. It was really smooth. Thought about it, kept it in my mind. It's an option there. Boom. Then we drive the Audi. Now, when I drive the Audi, I'm not driving the Audi, recklessly. I'm just test driving the car, regular, controlled. I go around the block, come back to the dealership. He's like, let me show you something. So me and the worker, or whatever, the dealer, me and the dealer switch seats. He gets on the driver's seat. We go around the block. We get to this open road, floors it. I'm in the passenger seat. I feel a feeling in my stomach that I only felt going down a roller coaster. And that's when I decided I wanted that car. I need it! And it was a 2012 Audi S4. Supercharged. Super fun car. I enjoyed it. That's when I really started to get into fast cars, because that's when it really showed me, what this fast car life is about. Boom. I buy the car. Took me all day there in the dealership. I made sure I left with that car. So I drove off the dealership with it that very same day. And like a month later, I totaled the car. I totaled the damn car. I wasn't ready for power like that. Or I probably should have been a little more responsible, obviously. But, you make mistakes. You live and you learn. And I was young at the time, so I'm not going to beat myself up about it. But I really did enjoy the car while I had it. But, things happened. I ended up losing the car, fully covered. I moved on. Mind you, I don't know much about cars. All I know is that car was fast. Boom. Then, I ended up getting a Chrysler. I got a Chrysler 300S. I thought the S was the sport version. So I'm thinking, 300S, this is it. I test drove it. It was okay. Not as fast as the S4. But I kind of just jumped at the deal. I could have waited. I could have found better deals. Like I said, I didn't know much about cars. I didn't know much about like the engines and what's fast, what's slow. Anyway, it was a nice car. I got it. After a while, I kind of regretted the purchase, because like it was a nice car. I really liked it. It was pretty luxurious or whatever, especially for a Mopar. It might be close to a Charger, but it just seems more luxurious. Anyway, the car wasn't that fast. It was still a nice car. And I ended up kind of losing that car. It was actually, I drove into a flood. Or I drove through a flood, and my engine locked up on me. Hydro lock, or whatever it's called. So it locked on me, and basically the car was totaled. I probably owned it a few months after I got it. So my luck with cars hasn't been the best. I don't always have, my first car had a bunch of, you know, a bunch of problems, engine, transmission. The second one, I totaled it in like a month. The third one, the engine locked on me a few months in, probably 7 months. I don't even know. So it was tough. And so now I ended up with the AMG, which is going to be my next video. I'm going to introduce you to my car. But yeah, that's my story on how I even ended up getting into cars and how I ended up here. Even if nobody really watches, honestly, this is just for me. I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to make videos. It gives me something to do. And, you know, it's a skill to learn when you're working on these videos, angles and editing. And it's a new talent that I'm trying to unlock. So, you know, if you could please like and subscribe, I really appreciate it. If you guys would like to follow along with my journey as far as, you know, building my car and, you know, maybe eventually getting newer cars, we'll see what happens there. But, you know, God willing, I'm just trying to move forward with my dreams and let's get this thing going, you know. But yeah, that's basically my story. And I'll catch you guys next time. So appreciate it. Peace.